box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have so close, opposite way. Saw. When we talk about the movie itself, it is a very smartly written movie with a twist where you're just like, damn. You haven't seen a twist like that in quite some time. Even in horror movies today or even action movies today where they try to do the got 'em, it's not anything as like, oh shit, as this, because it works with some of the acting and as well as some of the characters involved. This kind of sprouted the term torture porn, but when rewatching Saw, there really wasn't a lot of torture porn in this film or gore. Hard to dog this movie because of the cultural relevance of what this spawned. Even like Eli Roth is Hostel. Like this opened the doorway of new types of movies being filmed. Either gonna like it or not. Some of the negatives, I'll go with production design. When you look at what the locations are supposed to be at, for example, a hospital parking lot versus an apartment's parking lot. That is not a good parking lot whatsoever. I enjoyed the first Saw. Watching it again, it still holds up. Yeah, there are some cheesy moments, but it's hard for me to say like it's a bad movie because having a $1.2 million budget, first writers, first time actors, first time directors, you can't really go much wrong than this. Wronger? So Saw will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 80%. Out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, we have. I love it when I get it right. Saw Dose. So, do I like this film? I think with this one, they kind of like, oh shit, we have not even a year to write a script. I'm pretty sure this came out every freaking year of how we're going to expand this universe. And I do think they did a good job expanding who survived in the first one, who helped people in the second one, and just the overall story, because this puts it in the believable category of what these people have to go through. And these devices where they go into are not ridiculously like over complex and like, yeah, you could tell that there is a stepping stone of where these movies are going. Is this a step down from the first one? Yes. But the traps still work, and even knowing what is going to occur, especially with the needle scene, it still makes you squirm. And when a movie can still do that after your second or third viewing and being such an older-esque film, I truly have to give it props for doing that. When I talk about the negatives of this one, like I said, this one is about another hour and a half. They're all about an hour and a half movies, and they do try to put so much into these movies where only one of them really felt like it was a 2-hour movie, which is the third one, which I had to give it a positive because of doing that. But when these movies are an hour and a half, you know these characters are going to be superficial. You know they're not going to have a lot of backstories except, oh, I've been to jail. I've been to jail. I've been to jail. I've been to jail. Watching the second one, I totally forgot how it connects to the first one. So I went, oh, shit. That's pretty cool of how they did it. Overall, Saw 2 is still in the positive lane, in my opinion. It goes more in the oh shit territories, but the oh shit territories are ambitious enough and believable enough for the audience not to be pulled back just yet. So Saw 2 will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futons. It goes at 70%. Out of the box or out of the wall, whatever we want to call it, we have, close but no cigar, Saw 3. So, did I like this film? Honestly, I thought it was better than the second one. When you watch them back to back to back, this one is about 2 hours. So this gives you 30 extra minutes from the second one, and it really needed to do it to expand the characters because we are expanding this in a trilogy universe. This one is really a character study of how can you let go of your past and can you let go. It gives more breathing room for each character, the Amanda character, the Jigsaw, this doctor, this guy that's going through the other trap and that just can't let go of the drunk driver of his son being dead. But like I said, I think the traps here are also very unique and fun. It puts you in the moment of like, oh shit, will these people survive? And another believability factor, except you could say the last one, the believability kind of goes out the window, but it's a very cool trap where it kind of still makes you cringe even watching this movie over and over and over again. But when you continue going on, even though you feel like they flesh out the story too much, you're like, we're going way too much into the depth, and is it believability? But the believability kind of still exists because you look at some of these traps and you're like, can Amanda and Jigsaw really do these traps together? And the answer is a diabolical no. But overall, Saw 3, I actually thought was better than the second one. I thought the 2-hour runtime was needed to flesh out these characters and kind of close out this trilogy, and I think it works on that level. So Saw 3 will receive a 4 out of 5 futons, which equals at 80%. Out of the box or out of the ball, whatever you want to call it, we have. Cool. I'll take that as a win, right? Can you take that as a win, please? Anyway, Saw 4. And unfortunately, the fourth one is the weakest one of the group. This is where we go from the 2-hour runtime back to the 1.5-hour runtime. And this one is just so sporadic where you're just like, they're throwing so much at you and the unbelievability kind of goes down the drain. This one goes into horrible ripping out territory, ribcage territory, docking your eyes out, rims getting pulled off. This one goes into the complete bonkers territory, and I think it falters pretty heavily because of it. But this one is just so bombastically far-fetched where you just are like, whoa, time out. SWAT commander has like 90 minutes, but everyone else has like a minute. So you understand that believability where, okay, the SWAT commander needs to go to here, to here, to here, to here to figure out what he's got to do to like, maybe he needs to put these people in this test. But you got to realize at a point you're putting these people in this test, but they will never, ever make it out. But is it a horrible made film? No. I would say the craft is there, that it knows what the audience wants. But this is where you start feeling the downgrading of the movie as a whole. You realize that the fourth movie is a huge flashback sequence. So overall, Saw 4, if you're a fan of the franchise, just continue watching them because, I'm going to do that. Duh. So Saw 4 will receive a 2 out of 5 futons. It goes at 40%. Out of the box or out of the ball, we're going to call it. We have even exactly know what this is, but I did it backwards. Saw 5. So I actually remember liking this one a lot more than other people. And rewatching it, I do. Saw 5 is such a step up from the fourth one. Is actually believably good. The writing is so much better. Bringing this back to the roots of kind of the first and second and third one really brings it out. Yes, also the traps are also less just bombastic as the fourth one. Here, there's believability of some people needing to survive. And even though I do wish it would flesh out a little bit more with the whole Detective Hoffman and Jigsaw's background, which I can kind of understand it because, then you kind of think about the trap that Detective Hoffman did to get revenge, and you go, that's a little bit too ambitious for what the Jigsaw traps were in the beginning. And I did talk about this in the first one. I did kind of skip with it with the second, third, and fourth one. The production design kind of shows in this one how cheap it is. So overall, Saw 5, I really enjoyed this one. To me, this one is a step up over the fourth one and the second one. I truly dug this one. I believe it put it back to the Saw 1 roots. And I might be completely in the, outlier, but I'll accept being an outlier for Saw 5. So Saw 5 will receive a 3.5 out of 5 futons, which equals at 70%. Out of the box or out of the wall, we're going to call it. We have Saw 6, not the V. No, that's not a V. I'm an idiot. Anyway, Saw 6, new shirt. So, like this one. I thought it was a good one. See, I am more of a sucker of these Saw movies where it is like a game, not like you have 60 seconds, good luck. You have 60 seconds, good luck. No, this is like you have an hour to figure out what you're going to do with this character, You got to make decisions of like, you know what? It's a strength game, left to right, left to right. And that's where I kind of enjoyed the movies more instead of like the whole one-on-one, hand in acid. Good luck. All right, but let's talk about the traps on this one. I think this one was less gorier. I think it did it for a reason. We have the carousel with the shotgun. We have a steam one with burn wounds. Then we have someone getting hung. I think they did it on purpose to kind of put it back to square one with this movie. And I do enjoy that premise overall. This is where I kind of did some like, okay, who's in this movie? Who's in this movie? And I think they kind of did a disservice of who should be in the next movies. Let's put it that way. Of live and die. And also, it's kind of the dilemma where it's like, okay, so his family has a choice to kill someone. It's not the same thing. I'll put it that way. It is 100% not the same thing where if an insurance company says, I'm sorry, I can't cover you, that doesn't mean there's other options. Here, it's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in hydrochloric acid and just fuck you up forever. The reasoning behind some of these tests just feel really, really freaking weak. And unfortunately, not this one. The next one has some pretty damn weak ones. Saw 6 will receive a 3 out of 5 futons, which equals at 60%. Out of the box or out of the wall, we're going to call it. We have Oh, I got it. Saw 3D final chapter. Let's get those 3D glasses on. Whoa, bam. It is by far the weakest in the 7 movies, bar none. One thing about the 3D, I want to say this has got to be made during Final Destination for the 3D one because it felt like the same 3D effects. So if this one you're like, oh, we're going to close it out, but give it some of the shortest runtime ever, what the hell are you doing? Seriously, that makes no fucking sense. But when we talk about the positives, I do think the ending actually is the strongest while showing off some traps that haven't been used since the first one. And it does close out nicely with some of these characters, especially the doctor character, Jigsaw's wife, Detective Hoffman. But everything else in this movie feels so damn rushed, and I don't think it knew exactly what it was doing. You could tell the fumes were really dead on this one. How this opens up, the realism is like, how the fuck did this happen? If you're really drugging 3 people, getting them in the public, having saws everywhere, how are you doing this? And then Detective Hoffman's story, like I said, it just felt like it was bam, 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 bam. And a lot of these traps just felt like they were traps to, like, soft 3D gore, which the racist one, yeah, it has some cool 3D effects, but you're just like, let's play a game. We're playing a game because you're racists. Go. You're just like, okay, I understand that racists are bad people, but that's not a Jigsaw thing. But as an overall movie experience, it is a horribly, horribly mismanaged movie. You could feel like I felt like this one they knew for a fact when they were filming this movie, they're like, we gotta take a break because we're running out of steam, fumes, and we're just not having as much fun as we used to. So Saw the final chapter 3D will receive a 1.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 30%. Out of the box or out of the wall, whatever I call it, we have, oh yeah, Jigsaw. So did I like this movie? I really did. This is a fun installment in the Saw franchise. I thought the characters were great. The twists and turns were there. Some of the twists and turns you saw coming, but some of them like, ooh, maybe it could be that. And it does make you second guess of who some of these characters are, and I really, really dug that. You could say it is another far-fetched story because it is more of like now you're thinking, how many people survive all these Jigsaw traps? And so how of them were like, you know what? I'm going to help you from here on out. Because it really never goes to the stories where it's like, you've been saved. Fuck you, Jigsaw. I don't want to fucking help you. And I think the backstory of this one is one of the stronger ones. Because you have the detective one, yeah, it's kind of like, I kind of believe it. Then you have Samantha's one, or is it Amanda's one? They're like, yeah, I kind of believe that one as well. But this one is the most believable of this guy that's just down in his luck. Or he just came back from a war tortured. And he really had a fucked up mistake way to do a Jigsaw. And I think Jigsaw realized that. And having that story really does play out. I'll say, though, the timelines of these movies now, though, are getting really fucking confusing. I think the acting's good. How the movie looks, it needed a departure from, like, the graininess of this and the fast pacedness. This one, even though it was a shorter movie, 91 minutes, but it felt like it felt right. It didn't feel rushed. This Jigsaw one does give the run of its money for the first one. I truly enjoyed this movie. It felt right. It felt gritty enough. And the very ending is very satisfying when you realize who done it and what could have happened. It just felt, and that story with the mother. I think the writing on this one was probably the silkiest, smoothest of them all as well. Jigsaw will receive a 4 out of 5 of Futons because at 80%. Out of the box or out of the wall, whatever I call it, we have, that didn't sound right. Anyway, Spiral. So, did I like this one? This is a totally different movie. I'm starting to watch some of the special features on this one where it's like, it wanted to be kind of a comedy-esque, but not like a scary movie. Even Chris Rock said like, I'm watching this second Saw. I like Donnie Wahlberg's character. However, what if I play that part? What if Eddie Murphy plays that part? I do think it works extremely well. Again, it's another short movie, only 92 minutes, 93 minutes, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. I'd say the biggest fault of this movie is knowing the ending of the film. You know exactly the ending of this film. You know exactly who died or the whodunit death because you're just like, okay, you didn't see that one, so you know for a fact that person is still alive, period, end of subject. Overall, Spiral, great traps. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the overall message of this one. I had a fun time overall. So Spiral will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 70%. I think this is between, okay, I can't tell you what movie this is between, but anyway, and this game is personal. I think that is what made this movie just feel gritty. In my overall opinion, holy shit balls, this is a great freaking movie. Oh, what is, now. And doing that, everyone in the theater was doing that, especially this femur bone one. If I do have to give a negative, though, I would say I'm so confused in the timeline. Because I thought Saw 1 was like, okay, this is the first test. But that's just my little pea brain. But now I'm thinking, what is the exact order? Is the main person, I wanted this person to have a more gruesome death. But my goodness, this one felt personal. It was filmed fantastically. This is in the top 3 for sure. So Saw X will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals that 80%. But now, let me give you my rankings. When I've actually seen all 10 of them, can I remember them? Number 10 is Saw 3D. Number 9 is Saw 4. Number 8 is the, you could call it the crazy one for me, is Saw 2. Number 7 is Saw 6. Number 6 is Saw 5. Number 5 is Spiral. Number 4, Saw 3. Number 3, Saw X. Number 2, Jigsaw. Number 1, the OG Saw.
Do you want to play a game?